Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today, and I got another t-shirt on today that I want to absolutely burn into my skin. Some may call it a tattoo. I don't know, but it's a swoop racing shirt. Hell yeah. I love my clothing. Anyway, today we're getting into Xbox news that has been so long overdue. I can't believe that now in 2022 it's a legitimate rumor, but we're talking about Gears of War, maybe Fable, getting the Master Chief Collection treatment. And the former is so stupidly long overdue for this, and it's felt like the mistreated younger brother for ages, that finally we are seeing a rumor that I think is long overdue, and who knows when it's coming, but I'm excited to talk about it. We're also going to be getting into the Steam Deck, which now has a release date for those of you out there who are big on like Xbox Game Pass and stuff, and Xbox game streaming. Keep an eye on this one, because until Xbox does their own handheld, Steam Deck is looking like the movement. Last but certainly not least, Halo Infinite has finally showed us some numbers, some very important numbers like player count, like sales numbers, and we can talk about the success that this series has now enjoyed, and with a reinvigorated Halo, what that means for the future. So if you're new here, I always ask this, and many of you oblige, but consider subscribing. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we could hit 500K this year. That's crazy to even think about. Oh, God. Okay, enough of that. Let's talk about Gears of War. So there is a podcast called Xbox Era, which reports a ton of news and rumors that they hear week in, week out. I think it's a good show. I wanted to shout it out here. Let's play the clip, and then we'll talk about the response that really, I feel, helps legitimize said rumor.
Xbox bought who? Sony did what? Nintendo? That's right, people. It's the rumor mill.
All right, Nick.
Okay.
Hit us.
Okay.
Hit us. What do you got?
So everyone doesn't get too upset. This is related to Xbox. I know it's been a while. Now, I'm annoyed I can't go into more detail, but I get why. So I've been told, the rumor I've heard, what I've been told is that there is another Microsoft franchise. I'm not allowed to say the franchise. There is another Microsoft franchise that will be getting like the Master Chief Collection treatment.
Oh,
Is probably the best way to describe it.
yeah.
That's now timelines. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's a thing that's going to be this year, next year, whatever it is. Probably most likely, I would guess, next year. But I don't know timelines right now. Just that there will be another franchise, another Microsoft franchise, getting that Master Chief Collection treatment. Collection of all the games,
One
all
UI.
done up, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all bundled into one, all that
Did
sort
they
of
not
thing, yeah.
learn from their mistakes?
Well, you could argue that now that they've got the Master Chief Collection right, they now know.
Fair.
So after that clip, then Tom Warren, who's had his name connected to a lot of Xbox rumors, most notably, I'd say, as of recent, would be the Halo multiplayer launching nice and early, which he was very much on the forefront of teasing, kind of like this, where he says, the gears are turning on this rumor here. Now, while it is said on the Xbox Era podcast that we don't know when this will be happening, it's suggested 2023 even, we need to talk about what looks to be a Gears of War collection. I remember in middle school, that's when I got my Xbox 360, the movement was, do you have Halo 3? Do you have Gears of War? I feel like as time has moved on, Gears of War has developed into this very single-player focused conversation, which I think is good because the campaigns in Gears are awesome. But when I was in middle school, like, Gears was the talk of the town for multiplayer. You know, the disrespect you could do with a chainsaw kill, the skill of wall bouncing, all that stuff was a major factor in your gamer cred at school. So those are the two games that were always talked about. And when you look at the Master Chief Collection, how it captures all of the multiplayer experiences throughout Halo's legacy, and then you look at Gears, which has a legacy of its own amazing multiplayer, and it's not captured in one collection, I don't get why this hasn't happened yet. All of the horde modes, all of the multiplayer, the co-op campaign. I mean, I just went through at the beginning of 2021, it was when I had COVID, a buddy and I did full co-op for every single Gears game. And now seeing that this may have been put into 2023 makes me feel a little okay with all this, because at first when I saw this, I went, man, I just played a bunch of 360 games at 30 FPS, and I could have got all these new achievements, but I'll go back, I'll replay it again, because these games are not only really engrossing, I think, but they're kind of funny. Like, there's this really cheesy humor that's dribbled all over Gears. But, you know, for me, it was a matter of really just playing catch up on this series. And I think for a lot of people, they're going to want to when they see the next Gears game, which we know is being worked on Unreal Engine 5. We heard last from the Coalition that that's what they're doing, which also meant we wouldn't be hearing from them for some time. So it makes sense here that Gears of War as a collection would be used as a stopgap to get people along the way to remember Gears, to stay engaged with Gears, to have a collection that is a great representation of how awesome Gears is before a new thing in Gears arrives, which will take some time thanks to technical changes. So very, very, very excited about this news personally. I just need to say again, the co-op campaign fun found in Gears of War cannot be underestimated. If you are out there and you're watching this and you've never played them before and you're wondering, do I wait for the collection? Do I play them now? Who knows when this is even coming? If you want to use around the timing of E3 as a cutoff point to say like, okay, you know, now I'll play Gears, then yeah, dive into the older ones. These are great games. Especially, I love the story in Gears 2 because you can tell in Gears 1 they didn't know they had something really, and then Gears 2 it's like, oh, let's you know, gloves off with this. So it's an amazing transformation to watch, and even the new ones by Coalition. Gears 4 was very safe, but Gears 5 I thought was awesome, especially in the first half. So enough of that. Let's talk about the Steam Deck now. Steam Deck, it's launching February 25th, and Valve has posted an update where they say, hello, the day is almost here. On February 25th, we will be sending out the first batch of order emails to reservation holders. Customers will have 3 days or 72 hours from receipt of their first order email to make their purchase before their reservation is released to the next person in the queue. The first units will be on their way to customers starting the 28th, and we plan to release new order email batches on a weekly cadence. In addition, we're sending out press units for full review shortly. Press review embargo on Steam Deck coverage will lift February 25th, but keep an eye out for some preview coverage and impressions before that. In the meantime, we're working to tie up the last few loose ends and polish some rough edges, and are excited to get these out to you at the end of next month. Okay, so I don't know the chances of me getting a review unit, so if anyone just like, you get an email from Valve and they're like, yo, here's your receipt, dude, like if you just let that go, you know, that so I can filter in there, like I'll be making content, so it will be worth it if you relinquish your order and you let me just slide into the queue gradually. Like if we do this as a movement, like I can get I'm just playing, but I am waiting till Q2 is currently the word on my reservation, which is fine, but man, y'all know I love handheld gaming. Like I'm a PS Vita advocate. I still play my Vita to this day. I was just playing it the other night. Like I love my Vita. I love my Game Boy Advance SP. We talk about that a lot on Retro Rebound. I have so much adoration for handheld gaming because it's what kept gaming alive when I was a kid, when I was traveling all over the place and I didn't have a way to play like the home consoles. These were so important. The PSP, of course, but now the Steam Deck and the Switch are kind of side by side, and I just can't wait to get my hands on a new handheld device because I've been playing the Trails games on Steam, and these are games that I just want to lay in bed and play. Like they're just so slow moving. I just want to play them in bed. But enough of my personal desires here. I'm making this all about me. This is exciting. A new console dropping in around the next month or so, and it looks like that everything's going smooth. Like they've been very open with communication on when things are happening. They're even putting the press dates out there for people to keep an eye on when these reviews and previews can drop. I mean, that to me is super exciting. So I cannot wait to see what people think of this. I imagine it'll be nothing more than stellar. I've already seen this in motion from a couple developers, and it just looks like a dream, man. I cannot wait to fire this thing up when I get my hands on it. So let me know what you're all thinking about the Steam Deck down below. Let's continue on talking about Halo. Halo is doing mighty well. We already saw on the US NPD, which tracks digital and physical sales, that Halo in December 2021 ranked at number 2 as the best-selling game for that month, just behind now Xbox-owned Call of Duty Vanguard. So that can benefit them in the long run. And I'm sure down the road, when Halo's getting outdone by Call of Duty again, that Xbox won't be too disgruntled by this Titan doing that well. With that said, if there's one thing we've noticed with Microsoft, it's that they don't talk sales numbers. We, in fact, still don't have those. We just have a ranking of sales numbers. They talk player count. Why do they talk player count? That's what matters for Game Pass. That's the metric they go by. So with that, the Halo Twitter account posted, with over 20 million Spartans joining us so far, we're thrilled to announce that Halo Infinite is the biggest launch in Halo franchise history. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the next step in this great journey. What does this mean when you got 20 million players? Number one, money in the bank, right? We already saw those prices for monetization were super high for a nice long time before they finally came in and slashed pretty much everything in half. Because now they got you. They've absolutely made their money back because the game not only sold well, but they had 20 million players hopping into multiplayer. I love to see Halo doing well. I've said this a lot of times that this past year, when I went through all the Master Chief Collection, played all the stories, I really rediscovered my love and adoration for Halo. And I think Infinite for that as well, for looking good enough for me to want to dive into all those games to be ready for Infinite. And of course, Infinite delivering what was, in my opinion, a top 3 game of 2021, a strong multiplayer experience with a pretty solid campaign to boot. Like, it was a really good game. So I'm just happy to see that a lot of people are hopping into this. What does this mean for the future with such a large player count? What I'm hoping for is annualized campaign expansions that take us to new locations that are not the Pacific Northwest. I am begging 343, give us snow. Give us snow. Assault on the control room. Give us snow. One of the most definitive levels in Halo history, in my opinion, was Assault on the control room. There is no Halo without snow. Halo 1 had it. Halo 2 had it. Come on, like 3 had it at the end. Like, snow. Give us snow. I will be out of my seat with hype more than probably the initial launch of Halo Infinite if I see a snow biome. Oh my God. Because it would look incredible in this new engine. And it's so desperately needed, this environmental variety. So I think that's something that's on the way. And mind you, they're doing this well with what I think is a pretty weak multiplayer infrastructure when you really look at it. Like, a lot of people are already done with the battle pass. For me, I'm lagging behind because I've had to review stuff and I've been playing other stuff. So I'm at level 40-ish right now. I got a long way to go in the scheme of things, but it's very easy to rank up now. And a lot of people have had some issues with even that, which is hilarious because I thought the big issue at the beginning was we couldn't rank up, but now we're ranking up too fast. So once you burn through the, say, battle pass, there's no reason to play because, go figure, there's no secondary progression system there, like ranking up, leveling up, especially if you hit Onyx in ranked, then you're doubly screwed because it's like, well, what do I play for now, right? And I think that's a totally fair point to make for a lot of Halo players. So we're going to see what happens over time. They haven't moved the date for this second season, which was seemingly landing around the summertime, which I think is perfectly poised for E3 to make some Halo Infinite announcements. So there will be certainly a lot to discuss then. This, whatever you want to call this summer gaming showcase thing that inevitably Microsoft will do because they love to do showcases. They love to announce things. I do expect will be huge because they're going to have a lot of cool stuff that they're finally able to show that they've been talking about for a while, plus building off of stuff like Halo Infinite, which had a very successful year and will only get better, we can hope. Last but not least on the Halo grind here is a new TV trailer will debut during the AFC Championship game. The AFC Championship game will air on CBS on Sunday, January 30th at 2:05 p.m. Pacific Time, 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time. The Halo TV series will debut on Paramount Plus at some point in 2022. So this is one that I want to say for the back end of the video, I don't know how many of you are high investment in this TV show. I'm definitely interested because Chief looks pretty good, but otherwise it's one of those things that we'll see you when we see you. I'll be keeping an eye out because I'll be watching the game anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see this trailer and how it all looks. But otherwise, that's all of the Xbox news that we got for you in today's video, plus Steam news. With all of that, ladies and gentlemen, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing your thoughts. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.